Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Beyond Wall Street podcast. This episode, I have with me Paul Ngalame. Say hi, Paul.
Hi.
Always love having you on. It's just very relaxed. Just feel very okay with you. Just calm me down. It's really good. We got a good chi going here, if that's the right word for it. But
That's right.
today, we're going to talk about how people should think about insurance and what that entails. What do we mean by that? And just a lot of the culture around it. Is our big thing here is culture, 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 because we have to change the way we go about finances in America because it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
No, it is not.
So I want to give you the opportunity, the stage right now. I got my talking points, Paul, but I want to give you the spotlight here. Just really go into that. What does that mean to you, and what do you mean by that?
Absolutely. As always, Nate, thank you for having me. And you're right. It's always the most natural of formats when we get to talk, even though we're talking about stuff that's heavy, can be considered heavy. But as I learn in this industry, man, I'm realizing that we just we're we are best when we are just as natural as ourselves. Yes, we are in sales. Yes, the goal is to educate and espouse what we think of, what we want to see done to as many people as possible, and write policies. But not everybody is the right fit. So it's always nice to link up with you once a week. Hopefully, we'll set it up to two times a week, and continue talking and thinking through what has been historically a very disrespected industry. We are right there behind car salespeople, and I think personal injury lawyers as like the most distrusted professions in the space. And a lot of times it's because of what we is self-inflicted wounds. L- for you, Nate, what made you get into insurance? Was this a plan that you had before, or did you sort of stumble into it?
That's a fun story. So, a while ago, I worked for another member of our team, Bob Morris, a district representative in Indiana. Great guy, small business owner, health kick nutrition.
Mm,
Started off there part time, worked my way up to assistant manager. And he kept telling me, hey, you need to get insurance. You'd be so good at it. You'd be great at it. You love talking to people. You're a great guy. You help people in here. You got the right heart for it. And it's like, whatever. And then I finally bit into it and I did really well at the mortgage protection side of things and starting off. And then I kind of had a little falling out because I met a girl, and guy meets a girl, kind of sacrifices his ambitions, and yeah, a little bit of regret there. And I ended up working at the railroad. Not too long ago, I got hurt, couldn't go back to work there, and I was like, man, it's too dangerous of a profession. I need to. Um, I was like, I have such a good vision of myself. I'm a smart guy. I know I can do good things and help
yeah.
people. I need to get back into the insurance side of things. And that's where I met. Um, I went back with Mark, and then he called me and said, hey, I have this opportunity with WH Steiner. For those of you who don't know, the Beyond Wall Street podcast is an affiliate with the Skyline Financial and WH Steiner brands. We work for them. We love doing it. But that's where I met Wealth and Health Steiner, and that's where I am here with Paul. He got me here. So
Yeah, yeah. No, very, very, you went back and forth and then you ended up where you ended up, and then you discovered this love for it. Um, it's I'm asking that because I think 90% of us sort of stumbled into this industry because my initial impression of an insurance agent was very negative, very negative. And I did an experiment. I would go into places and I would say, hey, I sell insurance, and count how quickly people flee, like take off and go in the opposite
this is
direction.
the key. That's the thing. You said I sell. People
Yeah,
don't like to be sold things.
true, true. And that's why, because a lot of folks who hear insurance think you want to sell them something.
Well, and
Um,
honestly, what I think gives us, if you're not like a State Farm or a Progressive, like a brick and mortar, people
correct.
they think you're a telemarketer.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
think you're just in some that my big thing. My friends always say some pyramid scheme,
yeah,
pyramid
yeah, yeah,
scheme.
yeah. I've had people on the phone tell me, get a real job. And I'm like, if you know how much work we do here, you have
Yeah,
no idea how real this is.
buddy, my livelihood has a very big impact on how your life and the legacy you leave behind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's because, and I think it's also because of the intangible nature of what we do, right?
Yeah.
You want to buy a car, you go get the car, you get it, drive it. You even you go to Wayfair, order furniture. Within a week, the furniture comes, you touch it. Insurance, we're telling you put money here. If nothing happens and you don't file a claim, that's a good thing,
Yep.
right? You see the
Yep.
reverse in it? Like you put money, but nothing happens and you're glad that nothing happens. And if sometimes if something happens, you might not get full coverage. You know, your insurance might just be sort of half of what you need. So there's this negative buyer's remorse about insurance all the time. And so the more I think about it, the more I'm like, how should people think about insurance? Because everybody loves what insurance does, but
It's the
everybody hates
oldest
insurance.
industry on the planet.
And it's for a reason, right?
Yep. Well, here's the thing, Paul, and this is what we talk about the culture, and here's the thing: the people whose family have life insurance and regular and just insurance in general, but more specifically life insurance, they leave legacies. Their kids don't grow up poor. When they pass away, their grandchildren they have lump sums of money that are able to help
Correct.
them out, to give them an advantage in life. And if you're looking at it in a negative way, it's okay. Like I'm wrong all the time, but it's okay to be wrong
Right,
because
right.
it does make that big of a difference from an honest perspective. And speaking as someone who's gotten that phone call after in the short time I've been in the business, my husband passed away and this is the worst time of my life. But now this is why we got the coverage. Now the wife's taken care of.
Correct.
How can I claim this money? It's very surreal and it's very you've once you get that call, you understand like this is why I've been doing it. This is
Yep,
why I've been doing it. Things happen.
absolutely. That's why when I'm in front of a client, I cannot I haven't done my job, unless I write you up on a policy or unless we apply for you. Because I too have gotten that call. I had a friend of mine, he's now become a friend, but the kid was a client. And he's told me to tell his story. His name is Jean Bazil. I met with his family, I think on a Tuesday. They liked everything, everything. Please, let's get the policy in. Let me sign you up. No, come back on Saturday. We'll think about it. I got to the door of the house and I did the apology close, which is, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Oh, no, everything was fine. Then let me write you up. Let me write you up. Let me just put in the application. It would go in today and you have coverage if it's approved today. They refused. Friday, I get a call. I answer. Hey, Paul. The voice is sort of shaky, like crying. I'm like, who's this? Oh, this is Jean. Jean who? My name is Jean Bazil. You met with my parents on Tuesday, and I just called to get the policy number of what you wrote. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm meeting them tomorrow. We didn't write anything. The kid screamed on the phone. What? You let them do that? They passed away this morning in an accident on I-95, both of them. True story, bro. I'm
Wow.
getting goosebumps as I'm telling you this stuff. And so I held the phone and he was like, how could you let them get away with that? How could you let them not write up a policy? And they didn't have any money, like nothing. They couldn't even bury their parents. So when I think about that and I think about persisting in the engagement, is because I know how very fragile this stuff is and how
Here
delicate it is.
it's the only thing that you can buy car insurance and never get in an accident. You buy life insurance, you're going to use it one day. You're going to. I've never met this person who's lived forever yet.
That's true.
And
That's absolutely true.
it's an investment in your life that if you go to the Vegas odds, it'd be 100% odds because it's going to happen. And you're just setting the financial dynamic up when that time comes. You have to plan for it. You try to plan for it. You don't know if you have a plan for it. If it happens tomorrow, hey, I got this coverage. My family's going to at least have 250,000. That covers the house is paid for from my wife, and the vehicles are paid off. The kids are fine. Everything's good. Or later on, and everything's more paid off. That's a big legacy to leave to your grandkids, and you'll be, grandpa money. You know,
No,
but
it's true. There'll be a big thing over the mantelpiece that said, all this started by Grandpa Nathan.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I always think about it like this, like when we're talking about the question, how should people think about insurance? I think if it's important for you to plan to pay your rent next month or your mortgage next month or next 6 months, then you take planning seriously, right? Then you think about the future. You think about, even if it's just the next week, you're thinking about the next step. And insurance is the most assured way to certify that next step thinking.
I can't tell you how many times, just as a field agent meeting with 10 to 15 people a week, you meet with the younger crowd and they're like, nah, I don't need this. I got it through work. Well, they don't know that when you retire, that insurance don't come with you. But how how many people I spoke to over the age of 60 are like, I wish I would have done this 40 years ago and took
Oh,
care of
yeah.
this because now it matters. Because now it
Everybody says
matters.
that.
Because now they're like, I'm 60 years old. Something could happen to me. It's $250 a month to get $25,000 of graded coverage because I have a heart condition, and I could have had $250,000 for $50 a month back when I was 20. And so
Exactly.
that's the thing when I met with as a fresh agent, how I had such success, because number one, I didn't actually try to sell you anything. I didn't say, hey, we're going to do this. Hey, you need to buy this. I'd say these are your real problems that you're going to face in life, and you can either do it now when it's cheap and you don't, and it's taken care of, you don't have to worry about it, or you can figure it out later when it's a lot harder and it's a lot more expensive and you may not be able to do that. And now let me just tell you from experience, being able to not help a family because of the budget, they just can't afford it because on a fixed income when they're older, because hey, that's another thing insurance can do for you, that retirement. But anyway, being able to not be able to make something happen just because the budget they can't afford anything. And then now they tell me like, but I feel horrible because now my kids are going to have to pay to bury me. And it's just a heavy feeling in the household, just because it's just what it is, because
Yeah,
fixed income's a very hard thing to work with.
correct.
You can do the best job you can, but that's just what it comes down to. So your idea of life insurance especially has to change, just in my idea, because now it offers so much more. Now it is inherently advantageous to own life insurance. It's, in
Correct.
my opinion, the most essential and the most profitable asset you can own as an everyday person because of its potential and what it does for
Yeah.
your life, adding the
Yeah.
value. But I want to turn it back over to you. I don't want to talk up a storm here. You're probably got your own opinions on that, but I really just want to
No.
hammer that home, because just the idea conceptually around it transferring into today and how it should be utilized as it's a tool of good. It really is.
No, there is honestly no downside to this. There isn't. Yes, there are the arguments and debates you get now in the industry, especially when you're dealing with advisors, because a lot of folks call themselves advisors, but they don't have the sophistication to put forth a plan that covers a variety of things. But the discussions we have nowadays in the industry is about the minutiae. Should I liquidate my IRA and move it to this insurance policy? All those things, there are yes and no answers to it. But just like you said, it is the most essential asset, the most assured asset, because this is not an investment thing where you hope. This is something that has contractual guarantees.
Yep.
And with respect to how to shore up yourself, if you are somebody who wakes up every morning and you go to work so that tomorrow can be better, you must have an insurance policy, because you are already looking to make sure that the future is better. And the flavors that we have nowadays are ridiculously good for you and the people after you.
Yeah. And I would say anybody who watches this, if life insurance isn't good enough for you, why is it good enough for JP Morgan, Chase, the top 1% of people who hold wealth in this country?
Susie Orman has
Yep.
so much life insurance.
Chase
life
Penny.
Uh-oh.
It says this meeting will end in 10 minutes, so we'll have to be a little bit quicker. I guess there's a certain meeting time I got on this.
Time off. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. The idea was just to how, like, someone in your generation, I'm a generation above you, but how do you reach out to your folks? How do you get someone in your generation to understand the urgency of this Because the idea is, I'm good, I'm young, I don't need this stuff.
I'll tell you, and this is why I want to get this out to people, because it usually takes a death in their nearby family before people get to thinking about this. It's no fault to them. It's just, it's easy. Like no one, it's easy to put in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Close friend, his fiance just had a passing in their family.
Mm.
And, you know, I was talking to them just because, we brought it up, and, they end up bringing up, oh, hey, you do life insurance. I need life insurance now, because they've seen the aftermath and
Yeah.
how it's affected. And thankfully, for what I know, is the family member had life insurance, and, they're able to give that back to the family. At least it's something. It's a surefire bet that when things happen, your expenses are paid for and you can leave something to your loved ones. And that means it's a depiction of your character, who you are as a person.
Yeah, I agree.
Because yeah,
I agree completely. I agree. But the goal is to continue talking about it and talking about it again, because there is, I mean, everybody who is in the everybody who was in the sorry, I just got I think a lead. Anyway, everybody who was in the business of doing better for themselves, in the business of protecting their loved ones and making sure that they are setting a solid foundation in every respect, financially, emotionally, mentally, spirit, everything has to have protection behind them. And there's nothing more tangible, even though it's very intangible when you sell the product. There's nothing more tangible than life insurance.
you want to know something that I found interesting traveling around to other areas, is very in Orlando here, very Latin American, a lot of Latin American community. They value life insurance so much higher than where I'm from in the Midwest. Like you
Right.
talk to them, you tell them like, hey, this is something you leave for your family. They're so much more family
They
oriented.
tell the whole family, don't they?
Yeah, they're like, everybody's got to get a policy. Everybody's got to get a
Yes.
policy. I'm like, you
Yes.
guys are awesome. Just seeing the love, how it transitions. Like we want
Yeah.
everybody to be taken care of. And they're the
Correct.
smartest families, because now they have all these assets, these contractual assets
Hmm.
of these life insurance policy. When every one of these family members dies, all that money is trickling down. And
Correct.
it's like a waterfall effect. And then
Yep.
all these kids coming up, they have their policies. And it's just, you're keeping a cash flow through your family. It's a very loving gesture, because now, as we pass on, we're leaving legacies behind that are affecting the next generation. It's something we can just keep doing as a snowball effect. Um, and I wanted to
Oh, it's brilliant.
I want to hit on a couple of things I wrote down here, because we have 6 minutes left. I just want to do kind of a rapid fire
Hmm.
key things. How people should think about insurance. Insurance is an investment, and legally, no, it's not an investment, but it's an investment in your life. That's what I can legally say, because you're going to pass away. You're going to get that death benefit. We talked about that for what it is. So you're going to be able to collect on that. We just talked about the trickle down. It's a tax shelter too for things like IULs, where you build wealth and you're able to shield yourself from the US government being the account
Hmm.
holder. Now you're the account holder. Big
Exactly.
thing I talk about. We do a lot of 401ks, a lot of Roth transfers over here, and a lot of retirement income plans in IULs, because it offers that tax shelter. You get $1 million, your tax brackets, they're 24%. Uncle Sam's taking 24% of that, and you're fully exposed to the market, utilizing the tax shelter of life insurance. That's what Bank of America does. JP Morgan Chase, they hold their tier one cash reserves, 40% of them, because that's legally the highest amount they can put into it, into
Exactly.
these insurance trusts.
Hmm.
Generational wealth. We just hit on that with, we talked about the family words are hard. Dynamic of the household passing down from generation. You have an IUL. You're becoming your own bank. You're leveraging your own money. You're getting these great. Like I was just talking to you about my buddy who we joined the video chat. We started
Hmm.
$147,000 a year, treating it as a savings account like it is, because you have full access to it, but you're leveraging your cash when he retires.
Yeah.
$147,000 tax free a year till the day he dies, from a $247,000 investment lifetime. Insane numbers. Let's talk about a
Insane.
payout. And then you're leaving her behind a legacy, a very large legacy, because that life insurance builds as the account builds, and you're able to leave that generational wealth. Living benefits, if you get hurt at work, can't work, pays out. It's got critical, chronic, and terminal illness riders in it. If any of those things happen to you, you're able to obtain the cash value in the cash to pay for those medical bills and whatnot. And the last thing before I turn over to you, Paul, you are the true account holder, not Uncle Sam. Your IRA and anything else you own, your loan at the bank is held by the bank. It's owned by the bank. Everything is owned by everybody else but you. You're just the payer. You pay into it. It's not ever yours. This life insurance policy, an IUL, a term product, it's all yours. You are the owner. The insurance company holds the binding legal contract to pay the policy holder and the insured. You are the owner. So those are my quick rundown. I want to give the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds to you, Paul, to close us out here. Just, give you the same opportunity to speak your mind.
No. What you said is absolutely correct. The summary of this all is that insurance is about love, right? If you don't love your family, okay, then you don't need to buy insurance. And if you don't buy insurance, that means you don't love your family. I'm just joking.
No, but for real.
But it is. I mean, look at an example of one of your clients in Orlando, right? I'll make some general assumptions here, and hopefully I don't get canceled. But an immigrant family struggling to make ends meet, and they start off building a legacy by buying an insurance policy. One person passes on, the next generation, the next of kin receives that money, and they start putting together a real legacy, whether it's
a down payment for a small business,
something like that. That business now employs the family, and now 5 families grow from the sprouting of that business, and it starts spreading, and they get policies. That's how the JP Morgans did it. I'm reading a book about what is the family, the super wealthy family from Europe? Rothschild. I'm reading a book about the Rothschild and how they built their empire. It's about that. It's about legacy. And this happened what? Early Second World War, 1930, 1940. And we still talk about the Rothschilds today as the pillar stone of finance. Most of that stuff comes from using something like a life insurance policy and doing it. So if you're about planning for the future, life insurance is almost like your shadow. There is no way you can avoid that if you're serious about preserving and building a solid future. And again, if you don't do this, it's because you hate your children. But no, it's a beautiful discovery. It's a beautiful discovery. And the more we think about it, the more I think about it, the more I listen to you guys and read, the more I discover what Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, knew, what Magic Johnson knew, what Walt Disney knew, what Susie Orman, all these people who talk about buy term, invest the rest, they have like 10 wealth accumulating insurance policies. So it's something that the rest of us should grasp, understand it, and contact W.H. Steiner to get a good deal.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today, Paul. Again, appreciate you coming on here. Probably
Always,
looking towards the end of the week, get another round with you in here,
yes.
Get another video up. Get with you. For those of you folks, we're wrapping it up here. This has been the Beyond Wall Street podcast with Nathan Bowers and Paul Ngalame. I will leave a link in the video description where you can meet with us if you'd like, as well as visit the WH Steiner website. That way you're able to get taken care of. This is Nathan and Paul signing off.
Click and like,
subscribe. Comment, subscribe.
Comments. Yes.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Nathan. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Cheers.